Hey, what's up? Hello and good morning, y'all. Hi and welcome to Simply Say Ciao. My name is Yen if you're new here. So today we are going to get a brow touch up and I'm excited about it. I honestly don't need too much done, but I do want them a little bit darker, so we are gonna get our touch up today and I'm excited for it. Meanwhile, on the way there, I thought I'd just, talk a little bit about where am I at and stuff like that. So start off, I will say I was like just feeling my face right now and it's so dry, but it's dry because I cannot remember before getting your like eyebrows tattooed, like whether or not you were not supposed to put anything on. So I didn't put anything on. I just washed my face. So I don't know if this was a good idea, and I keep touching my face. I'm gonna stop. But yeah, my face is really dry. I wanted to share a little story time with you all. So I don't know what it is, but I think the people around me, I've just been having a lot of conversations about career and how big a career has an impact on each of our lives. I've noticed that my jobs in the past have become who I was, and it really like messed with me mentally because of that. I was in a really great job, a job that like was my highest paying job to date. I had wonderful teammates that really like cared for me and gave me criticism in a way that like was very compassionate and very humanizing. And to this day, I still think about that experience of how I received criticism in a way that was very compassionate and non-shaming and didn't make me feel guilty about who I was or how I processed. But anyway, in October, November of that year, I was getting to a point where, although I learned a lot from that job, I was like, something in my heart and my body was telling me that this wasn't the place for me. So out of nowhere, we had a retreat, and during that retreat, as we were reflecting on the work that was happening and the work that was coming ahead and really just trying to connect with one another as a team, I remember just like having a moment where I was like, you know what? I'm not meant for this job. And what I meant by that was there was a need that was clear for that job and for my team. And for some reason, internally, I was my worst critic. I was self-sabotage. I was like everything. I literally was just standing in my own way in that situation. And for some reason, it was just really then hard for me to figure out where was the place of growth, where could I improve so I could stay with this job and this team, because at that time, it was really a great, loving place. I mean, it was always a loving place for me, really, honestly, even through the hard stuff. I loved that job. But in that moment in the retreat, I was like, I cannot give my team the support that they need, and I cannot give this job what it's asking for. So I decided to quit. Y'all, that was the scariest decision of my life. At that point, I was making about $50,000 a year. Again, that was the highest paid job that I had up to date that time. And I was like, you know what, like I just can't do it. It's not fair to my team. So I didn't. And even during that experience, I knew where my heart, like where I came alive, was working with youth. I missed working with youth. And there was a moment in my last job that I was working with youth that I could feel the fire. I could feel my motivation. I could feel and remember why I did the work that I did. And so I quit. I had nothing behind, like I had nothing planned after. And I was fortunate enough to have a very supportive like job even after I had left, and then for a whole month I actually had enough money to kind of last me, so I didn't have to stress too much about getting another job. So I was very blessed in that way. I was very fortunate in that way. And then I went on food stamps because at that time I was not getting income, and as I did food stamps, I was then able to provide for my family on top of having some money still left over. I was receiving food stamps. Because of that, I was required to meet with a career coach of sorts that is provided by the Department of Human Services, and it was part of this program called STEP, and they at first I was like, okay, I have to do this thing, so let me just go and refine my resume and do all that stuff anyway, and maybe it's just another person that I can talk to about my worries about job, money, and things like that. And my God, it was almost like as if the universe was like watching over me and was like, you made the right decision to leave your job. You made the responsible decision to leave your job. And I was like, damn. Because as I was talking to this person, and shout out to that person, I'm forever grateful for that person and all that he did to support me. I found out that part of the STEP program is that they will pay for gas for you to go to interviews if you don't have gas. They will pay for your clothes. Like, if you need interviewing clothes and you don't have any, they can provide you with money to buy them. And they also said to me, like, because the requirement at the time is like I had to do 40 hours a month, I think, or something like that, of like just trying to find another job, trying to get back into the workforce. And a part of that included, like, if I went to school, I could then count some of my hours that I go to school for those 40 hours that's required. And I then was like, oh, like, he was just like, yeah, and if you're interested in vocational school, or like if you're looking to go get a certificate so that you can do a different job, like sometimes they have funds for it. And I was like, what? Huh? And you may not know actually. When I graduated college, I had always had some desire or interest to enter into the beauty industry. I didn't know what, but I just knew I enjoyed it and I liked it. But I remember graduating, my dad being like, well, you have a degree. Why the hell would you go back and do that? Like, if you were going to just do that, then there was no point of you getting the degree. Like, what the heck? And I was just kind of like, damn. And so for a long time, I was afraid to go for and learn about the beauty industry, because I was like, well, I guess I'm already up here, and I mean, I don't blame my dad. He doesn't get it. I don't think he understood it. I think, his advice comes from a place of fear and like experience that he has had. So it's informed by that, and there's no blame to that. It's just, that's the context, right? But I was like, you know what? Like, that really did stop me. It really stopped me. And, at that point when I had quit my job, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. In the state of Oregon, in order for you to become an esthetician, a hairstylist, a barber, even a massage therapist, I think, have to just have, you just need to be competent. So it's a competency-based situation, versus like other states, you have to have a certain number of hours. The only thing is that if you decide to not stay in Oregon to practice as a hairstylist, something in the beauty industry, then you'll have to have had some time before you can retake the test and transfer over to a different state. It was like really quick programming, and I decided that I was gonna go for it. I was gonna see what was gonna happen. And yeah, I'm gonna pause here because I'm here at my appointment and I don't want to be late, but we'll continue afterwards. All right. Look at my beautiful brows. The numbing cream is starting to come off a little bit, so I can start to feel kind of like the ouch, it burns. But we're gonna head home now. Oh, it's time to go. But yeah, here are the brows. They're not gonna be as dark or as thick when they heal, but yeah, they look a little bit wild right now. Okay, so back to my story time situation. So I pursued beauty school, and I don't know, man. I think me making the decision to leave my last job actually was the key to so many other opportunities opening up. As I was exploring, and I was like, could beauty school get paid for? Maybe. And the person was like, yeah, let me know how much it is, and we can look to see if we have the funding for it. And I was like, okay. I showed him how much it was, and then during that time, that month of me not having a job, I literally told myself, there's a couple of mantras that like came up for me during that time. I realized that when I go into the next interview and when I apply for jobs that I may not have all of the skills in, I mean, this is gonna be some realness of me. Like, let's be real, a lot of white men particularly will apply for jobs and get them, and they don't even have the skills or the experience, but they are confident in who they are. And I will say that personally, I do believe that they have more privilege. So that's just me. I know that not everyone agrees, but what got me through that time where I didn't have a job was a couple of things. I kept telling myself, when I apply for a job, if I have the slightest interest and I can see how my skills can be applied to that job, I went for it. And I wrote it with the utmost confidence in myself and my ability to have the time to learn if they so choose me to be in that position, and that I'm gonna fucking rock it. So that was one thing. The other thing also is, like I said it earlier, I knew that there are white men, white people, other people who have more privilege than I do, will go for jobs with hella confidence and will potentially get the job, ask for the raise. And I was like, you know what? That's what I'm going to keep going with. I'm going to tell myself that I'm going to be that way. Who am I to say I don't deserve this job just because I don't have to the T what the job description is asking for? But I can grow into those things, and I can still learn those things alongside with what I bring in my personal experience at this time. So I was like, yeah, I got this. And so that was like my mentality, and really what was really just kind of grounding me to be confident in myself. And in that month of me like looking for a job, I actually ended up getting, I think, 3 job interviews. One job had offered me a position, but it was a pay cut from my previous job. And so, but it was a great company. And then I went for a different job that I was like, I have the skill sets for it. I know I'm good at this, but I also like, it was such a high paying job. I was like, I don't know if it's right for me. And like there's some doubt there. But I went for it anyways. And I bring this up because even when, and I swear the universe had my back at this time, even when I ended up getting the job that I have now that's higher paying, is the highest paying job that I've ever had in my life up to date, I still got beauty school paid for. So I got to do both. And that was such a, like, I was like, fuck, like I'm quite lucky, and I'm very grateful that I get both. And so I started my new job in January 2020, and I also, so I started my new job in 2020, and I also started beauty school in 2020. But like that was one of the best decisions I had ever made, truly, was to leave a job that I realized, and I became aware that I am not fit for, and that it deserves someone else. And then also really just exploring what else there might be out there, regardless of what my dad or anybody else had to say. And now I'm in this job for the last 2 years. Has been super challenging, but I also I've seen myself shine a lot. I'm very grateful for this job, alongside having my side business. And my side business just celebrated its first year in business in July. And I'm still making very scary decisions here and there that like scare the shit out of me. But I am also at a place where I'm very confident in it too, and I appreciate that so much. I will say, for you to get there, like if you're like stuck, if you're ever stuck, I want to say the biggest thing that helped me get unstuck was to become aware. And what I mean by that is learn to be okay in your body. Learn to be okay with your feelings. For me, it was the form of therapy. That's where I really like learned a lot, and it helped me a lot. And I recognize therapy's not for everybody, but the goal is for you to be comfortable in your skin, in your body, in your emotions. That's the healing work that I think like really showed me how to love myself enough, but also how to show up for myself enough. And trust me, I'm still going through it, so like it's still hard, but I just wanted to share that like, you know, story time. I fucking quit my job, and I'm the only child. My dad only has me. I mean, there's other people that he has, but like out of my family of what used to be like 4 people, including my mom and my grandmother, my dad only has me. And I know there's folks out there that understand how hard that can be. And then I'm also adopted, which is for another story time. But even being adopted makes it complicated at times, right? Like with feelings and all those things. But yeah, I'm gonna end it here because I don't want this to be super long, because I don't like super long videos either. If you're open to super long videos, like feel free to leave a comment down below or let me know somehow, and maybe I'll make a video that's longer. But I do like shorter videos, like 10-15 minutes, so I'm gonna try to keep it to that. But thank you for joining in on this story time of you know, making the jump. I do believe that my generation, where my parents were the ones that took refuge in the United States and traveled all the way here so that I can have the life that I have, like this 1.5 generation, I don't know, second generation, first generation, I don't really know, because everybody has different meanings for that. But I know that it's challenging, and we have to let go of some of the trauma that came with our parents. And part of that trauma, I truly believe, has stopped them from being creative, which then tells us that we cannot be creative to be successful. And there are a few folks out there who are being successful in their creative ventures, like art and things like that, and music, and I see it, and it's great inspiration. I just want for folks to also know that, like, just because you're not there yet doesn't mean you can't be. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't be. We're in such a great generation where we can create shit like digital stuff, and I don't know, man, like you never know what might happen, you know, and the reach of like connecting with people is huge and massive, so, and abundant. That's the thing, it's abundant. But yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up here. I'll probably create a couple more story times about myself so you can get to know me. If you like this video, press that like button, subscribe if you want to, no pressure if you don't. Hopefully by the next story time my eyebrows are not this thicky. But yeah, I appreciate you, and until next time.